Hey, this is Andrew Brown from Exam Pro, and we are going to be looking at virtual network peering. And so there are two types of network peering. We have local and global. And local is where you are peering two virtual networks that reside in the same region. And then the other is when there are two different regions. There's a lot of benefits to virtual network peering, such as low latency, high bandwidth connections. There's a lot of good use cases for that. And it's something we should definitely know, especially if you're studying for the administrator. So let's go ahead and do that. To make our lives easier, we're going to be launching Windows Server. I know they're expensive, but don't worry, we won't have them for long. But we're going to have to launch 3. We're going to need 2 in a single region with different virtual networks, and 1 that is in a different region with a different virtual network. And then we're going to use PowerShell to just test the connection between them. So let's make our way over to virtual networks. I'm going to go ahead and here add a virtual machine, and I'm going to create a new resource group, and I'm just going to call this peering test. Or peering challenge, sure. And we'll go there, and then down below, I'm going to signify what this is. So this is going to be East A, and so over here, I'm just going to go to US East, and I'm going to change the image. We're going to choose a Windows Server. I'm going to go to Data Center 2019 Gen 2. And what we'll do here is just scroll on down, and we'll have to up the size here. Again, with a Windows Server, you need 2 and 4, so VPCU, a RAM 4. So the smallest I'm going to be able to do is this one, or, I never do B2s, but I think what we can do is this D2 version 3. You'll see me choose that a lot. And so now what we'll do is just make it very easy. We'll just set the password to Azure user, and we'll make it testing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 with capital on the T. Okay. And then we'll go ahead and we will just hit review and create. Oh, actually, sorry. We actually have to be really careful here because we want to make sure that everything is named properly. We've got to make sure all the virtual subnets are different. So this is peering challenge. So we should make our way over to here. And what we'll do is just change this to East A. Okay. So I was a little bit ahead of myself there. We'll make sure all the names have changed. And now that looks good to me. So we'll go ahead and go here, and we'll double check. Our resource group is called Peering Challenge. This is in East A, East US. This is East A VNet. So that makes sure that is unique, and we're all good to go. So we'll go ahead and launch that one, and we'll give that a moment. And now that it's in progress, we'll make our way back to virtual machine, and we'll launch East B. It's the exact same setup. So we're going to go down here. We're going to choose Peering Challenge. We're going to call this East B. We're going to make sure that it's in US East 1, which it is. We are going to make sure it's a Windows Server Gen 2. We're going to choose the same size there. We're going to set the username to be Azure user, and then capital T, testing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then we'll scroll on down, make our way to disks, to networking, and then here we'll just make sure that the name has been changed. So we'll change this to East B VNet. All right, and then we're good here. So we'll go ahead and hit review and create. And once that is created, we'll go ahead and create there. And now it's in progress, so we'll go and deploy the last one. And this one is going to be in a different region. So we'll go virtual machine. We still want the same resource group, so you make sure you choose Peering Challenge. And this one is going to be West A. And so we'll just look for West. And there it is. And we'll make sure it's Gen 2. That's all great. Azure user. And we'll do capital T, testing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And we will, whoops. Must be the top one that's a mistake here. There we go. We'll go to next, next, and then we'll make sure that this one is named different. So this will be, we said this will be West A. Great, and so we'll go ahead and launch that. We're going to create that instance there. This looks all good to me. Click create. And that one's in progress. Now, while these are going, we can set up our peering, because that will take a bit of time for these to launch here. So what I want you to do is make your way over to virtual networks. And we are going to go into USA, and we're going to bridge A to B. So on the left-hand side, we're going to go to Peerings. We're going to hit Add. And I'm just going to call this East A to B. And we're going to block the traffic because we want this to be kind of a private connection. We don't want traffic from outside of that connection. And then here, we'll just name it again, East A to B. We're going to choose where we want to peer to. That's going to be the B. And I'm going to deny on the other side as well. And we'll go ahead and hit Add. And that doesn't take too long to create. Let's give it a moment. And now that we have that, what we can do is now peer east to west. So I'm going to say east to west. We're going to say block for the traffic, east to west. And we will choose west here. We will block the traffic here. I'm going to go ahead and, oops, sorry, we want to allow the first one. We want to block the second part. I'll just give it a moment there. Great. And so I think we could just check those connections really quickly here. Just double checking, making sure all of my information is correct. Looks good to me. Yeah, that looks all correct to me. So now we'll make our way back over to our virtual machines because we're going to have to wait here. And once they're all running, then we're going to go ahead and RDP into some of them here and then just use PowerShell to give it a check. Great, so after waiting a little bit of while there, all of our Windows machines are ready. So let's go ahead and connect to them. But before we do, let's just make note of what the IP addresses of the other machines are so we know what we need to connect to. So we're going to RDP into East A to see if we can test a connection to B and A. So what I want to do is just see what this one is. So for B, the IP address for this is, we got to go to the networking tab. And so we have 10.1.0.4. And then for West A, and we go over here, this is going to be 10.0.1.4. So it's just one is here and then one is there. Pretty easy stuff. And so the command we're going to be using is called test net connection. So if we just pull up that in PowerShell here, just to show you what this is a commandlet that is part of Windows, not actually part of Azure, and it's a way for testing a connection. And so that's what we're going to be using today. So for the computer name, we're going to provide that IP address. We'll have to specify the port, and we'll just ask for the level of detailed information that we want, okay? So let's make our way back here, and what we're going to do is click on East A. We're going to go ahead and connect and RDP. And so we'll download this file. I'm on a Windows machine, so I can RDP right away. If you're on a Mac, you got to download the RDP remote client. It's free in the Mac store, but you need it in order to remotely connect. Or if that's too hard, you can use the Bastion, which is a lot of work and kind of a pain, but it's up to you what you want to do. And so here we go as we connect to this instance. And so, you know, you might have to wait a little bit for this to load. I had loaded it a bit earlier, just testing this to make sure everything works. But let's go ahead and open up the start menu down below, and we're going to type in PowerShell. Now, I'm going to tell you right now, this is really small. I don't really have any easy way to bump up this font, so I'm very sorry about that. But what we'll do is we'll type in test net connection, and then we'll put in computer name, and then we want the IP address. So we said A to B was 10.1.0. I believe 4. And so that's going to be on port 3389. And we want that information level to be detailed. Okay. And so if I typed all of that correctly, this should work. So we're going to wait for a response. And there it says that it's successful. So we have successfully created a peer between East A and B. Now we want to go check to see if we can do cross region. So the only difference here is this one is now here, and we're looking for the same response. So there you go. So we successfully established peering, and we've also showed that we know how to test for it. So that's great news. We'll hit close on there. And what we'll do is make our way over to that resource group. I'm going to go over here to all resources. Actually, sometimes it's easier to go to resource groups. I don't know why I don't ever click that. And we will find the one we have, which is called Peering Challenge. And we'll go ahead and delete that. So I'll just go there and delete this. Okay. And we should be all good. So there you go. That's peering.